auf mein Kopf. Pink wie ein Deckel, wo sie sich kleine fahren dem Topf. Geht mir kein Sach nicht, die Tropfen.
Hey everyone, welcome to Kill Me Now with Judy Gold. I'm your host, Judy Gold, and today we have part one of my conversation with Modi. I just did his podcast, and now he has done mine, and it's a really important conversation. And we didn't even, in the two parts that we didn't even get to a lot of important stuff that we wanted to talk about. So we're going to be doing a live podcast with him in December to finish it all up. But I think the conversation is so needed and so important. And, I'm not only talking about what's going on in the Middle East, which apparently everyone's an expert on now. It's amazing. Isn't it amazing? Like during the pandemic, we got so many people who were experts on vaccines and medical issues. And now during the Middle East crisis or during this war, everyone, I just can't believe it. I've read several books on the conflict, and yet I'm not an expert, but I wish I had the brain of all these people who are, just know everything and about genocide and land and terrorism and occupation. It's just amazing. It's amazing. So kudos to everyone out there who has, really spent the past 30 days just learning about the Middle East and are now, it's amazing. It's just incredible. And they're now experts. So mazel tov to all of you. The ripping down of posters is so disgusting. These are innocent fucking people. And you think you're doing some civil disobedience or you're making some statement. You look like a fucking asshole. FYI. Anyone who rips down a poster of an innocent person who was kidnapped is just a fucking asshole. Okay? That's all I have to say about that. I watched the marathon yesterday because, as you may or may not know, I, Judy Gold, ran the marathon in 1997, and it's just such an amazing accomplishment. That because you're really competing against yourself, and it's all in your head. It's all, yes, I can do this. And it's an incredible feeling. And so Elise's apartment is basically, it's on the route. Like they run right past her apartment, and it's on a narrow street. So you can you're right there with the runners. So I literally all day, I stand out there screaming like, you got this, 4 more miles. Come on. You look great. You're going to do it. Walk it out, whatever. And you can tell the effect it has on these people, because I remember when I ran, FYI, when I ran, my ex, I don't know if I've ever told the story, but I'm sure I have. If you put your name on your shirt, or you just, write it on your number or whatever, then people will yell out for you. So my sign said, "Go Judy," but the U looked like an O. So everyone was yelling, "Go Jody." And I was like so fucking annoyed. Now that I think of it, she probably did it on purpose. No, anyway, so now I was so annoyed, and I'm at the end of it, and they're like, "Go Jody," and I'm like, Judy. But my BFF friend Howard, his son David ran in 3:15. How great is that? And our soon-to-be nephew, Evan, ran in, sub 5, which is great, which is also how I ran. I ran it, but he had a better time than me. But he's younger. He was younger than me, and when I ran it. So whatever. But yeah, so proud of them. The medal is so much better than mine. It's much bigger. But, you know, if you see someone still walking around with their medal, don't think they're a loser. They worked fucking hard for that. All right? You know, I'm very excited about today's podcast because I can't speak about this enough, what's going on. And I have to say, I did sets all weekend, and the reaction to my Jewish jokes is completely different than it was 3.5 weeks ago. 4 weeks ago. 4 weeks ago. It is a new world out there. People are scared. People are very virulently anti-Semitic, and they're not hiding it. And it is terrifying for Jews everywhere, and also fucking sad. It is fucking sad. You think you know people, you don't know people. And the fact that they're not even embarrassed. They're not even embarrassed. It's not even, there's no stigma in being anti-Semitic for these people. So you got to separate, even though you can't, the anti-Semitism from what is happening in Israel, which is not the people who live in Israel. These people who wanted peace, who were living in kibbutzes right near the border. They want a 2-state solution. Like it's innocent. There's no words. There's no fucking words. So whatever. I just think we cannot stop talking about this, because once we do, once we're silent, that's the beginning of the end. And I have a big mouth. So anyway, speaking of my big mouth, this Saturday, bitches, I am going to be in Atlanta at the Marcus Jewish Community Center. It's a great Jewish community center. I performed there before. I'm doing a performance and a book signing of my book. Yes, I can say that when they come for the comedians in triple. And it's going to be great. So that's at the Marcus Jewish Community Center in Dunwoody, Georgia, which is really Atlanta. And I'm doing that, and I'm sure there'll be extra security like there is in any Jewish establishment. And then what else do I have coming up? It's, you know, the week of the 13th, my birthday. And then on the 20th, I will be getting a total knee replacement. So God knows how I'm going to sound on the podcast the following week. But you know what? I got to do it. And so that's what's coming up. So there's a little few, you know, I have a few weeks of not performing. Even though I did book myself thinking, you know, oh, I'll have a cane and I'll be fine. We'll see. But I'm going to really work hard on the rehab. So anyway, that's what am I talking? Just sit back. You know, I hope you enjoy this interview. It's important. And sit back, relax, and enjoy part 1 of my interview with Modi. This guest that we have on today, I don't think there could be a better time to be talking to him, because we're both going through it. And we're both comedians. We're sort of soul brother, sister, coming from the same...
I call it comedic family. We're comedic family. Me, you, Elon Gold, Alex Edelman, what is that horrible bell?
Oh, it's the Jew bell. It is the Jew bell. And anytime I mention anything Jewish, a bell goes off. So we are going to be ringing the Jew bell multiple times before like a huge conversation, so we don't have to interrupt it. But everyone, Modi Rosenfeld is here. We all know him as Modi. I know him as Mordechai. Yeah. But yes, Modi is here today. And Modi, I just want to say, we're recording this. We pre-record. Jay Cohen and Phil Rosenthal just left my apartment. We just had breakfast together.
I just had breakfast with Arthur Luxembourg. Ring the bell.
Oh my God.
Yes.
You know.
So we all had Jewy breakfasts today.
I have to say, I know this is airing in a few weeks, but right now at this time in my life, I really want to be around Jews.
I cannot imagine a better way to begin this podcast. I want to tell you, I'm going to cut you off and just go on my own little rant, if you don't mind. So just
please.
give the bell a few rings.
Okay, that's it.
So I don't know when you're airing this, but let me just give the audience context of what's happened. So when the war began, I was in Israel when the war began. Saturday morning, 6:30 a.m. Leo and I are in the Satai Hotel in Yafo, the Arab city of the Arab part of Tel Aviv. It's an Arab community in Tel Aviv, and the alarm goes up at 6:30, and Leo turns to me and like, do we go in the bomb shelter? I go, not me. My Ambien and my Xanax just both connected, and I'm good. But you want to go to the bomb shelter, and we didn't. And then we went to breakfast in the sukkah, and the next bombs came off. We saw the missiles hit. The Patriot missile hit the the Iron Dome missile hit the, and we went to the bomb shelter. Into the bomb shelter, and we had a flight that night at 8:00, and it took off.
Wow, you are so lucky.
Yes, the luckiest human being on earth. Air France had a flight out. They wanted their plane back in France, and so the flight was packed. Judy, I can't explain to you. They had passengers in the jump seat next to the stewardesses.
Yep.
And
they're called flight attendants. It's not 1957. They're not stewardesses. They're flight attendants.
A steward eye. And they had there's a cabin behind the cockpit where they had like 3 seats. They had 4 people in there. It was insane. We got out and we landed in Paris, and I had 4 shows planned in Paris, sold out months before. Jews that bought tickets from Italy, Belgium, Copenhagen, London, England, Rome. Unbelievable. We didn't cancel the shows. Paris police brought like amazing amount of police in front of the theater. Automatic machine gun strapped to their chest, the whole 9 yards. And the shows went on. And I cannot explain to you what it's like to perform for an audience, because I was in the back of the room watching them, and they're all on their phone watching kids being decapitated. The lights go down, and here's Modi.
Oh, God.
And that was it. I mean, unbelievable. I addressed it right away.
You have to.
You have to. And then got right into the fact that it's fundraising, and then just jokes and jokes and jokes and jokes and jokes. And we went an hour and 10 minutes, and then we sang Hatikva.
Oh God!
At the end,
did you cry?
Everybody cried. There wasn't a dry. They weren't expecting it. You know, they weren't expecting Hatikva at a comedy show. They weren't expecting the show. They thought it was going to be canceled. We didn't cancel. Thursday show.
You had to cancel.
I had a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We had to cancel because there was this. I can't tell you how scary it looked. It's called the Republic Square in Paris, and the theater is catty corner across from it. And there was the pro-Palestinian, whatever you want to call them, were on top of the statues, and it was not authorized. So the police built a wall around the square and tear gassed.
Oh God!
Thank God we canceled that show. We didn't cancel. We moved it to a Friday matinee, and it was half empty because it's before Shabbos, and people, had tickets to leave already. So it was, but back to how you began the podcast, how much you love being with Jews now. I can't explain it. People who don't go to synagogues, go. Not for the religious part, just to be with Jews.
Yes.
People go to whatever Jewish event is scheduled. Go to a comedy show. You see Judy Gold's performing. You see Alex Edelman, Modi, Elon, anybody. Go be together with whoever it is. There's FIDF events happening all over the world. In homes, I went to one in Great Neck. The cast of Fauda was there. Go be with other Jews. You'll feel so much better. Don't sit only on your sofa scrolling and going through this war in real time. Get out. Be a part of it.
It's so important. And I don't know. Well, I know. I think about this 24/7. It is never not on my mind, and I'm heartbroken. I'm angry, and I'm scared. As we all know, if you've seen my act, over the years, I grew up in a house where my mother every day said, everyone hates us. They hate us, and I'd be like, you're overreacting. No, they hate us. The minute you leave the room, they call you a dirty Jew. They hate us. They hate us. They hate us. And you know what? She was right. And thank God she's not here to see this.
Can I add something to
Yes.
that? I have a lot of people in my life that are Holocaust survivors.
Yes.
Even today, I'm very lucky to know survivors. And whenever people walk around and go, "Never again," this will never happen again, that you never hear a survivor say that.
Right.
The survivors, when you talk to them one-on-one, when they're not in front of a microphone, they say that they don't think it's never going to happen again. When will it happen
Right.
again? They always say that, and I never really thought about it, but it's literally so true. It happened again.
It happened
They
again.
slaughtered us.
And
They got us.
I think about, the Holocaust ended 17 years before I was born. 17 years, which is 17 years ago, Twitter was created. So not that long ago. And
Yeah.
every single one of my parents' friends who had an Eastern European accent was a Holocaust survivor. Every single one of them. And it wasn't that long ago. And I think
No.
that, 80 years, it's so fresh in our mind. It's still fresh. I feel that we have to be a community. We have to be around each other. Usually my podcast, we talk about your life, which we're going to talk about, which I find very interesting. And I think, you were born in Tel Aviv. You have two sisters,
Yeah.
parents. Your father was a driving school teacher. Is that correct?
My father owned a driving school.
Yeah.
Yes. How did you know that?
I
told you
do
that.
a lot of research. And I was like, when I found that out, I was like, oh my God, he owned a driving school, and the people in Israel drive like fucking maniac. Like they're the shittiest fucking drivers.
You're wrong.
But they're good.
But you're wrong.
I know. But
that's it. They're good.
They're good. But you're
skilled.
not.
I recently it was so funny you just brought this up. It's so funny. I had Cody from XOX Cody.
Yeah.
The Peloton instructing guy, and I was talking to him about how bad Uber drivers are. My father, when he taught me how to drive, taught me always be in the mind of your passenger. He said, always be in the mind of everybody around you. Just understand that they can do something that's not like what they're supposed to do, but always the comfort of the driver, of who you're driving with. Don't hit the brakes and be like that. And I always think my father taught me how to drive very well, and it's a gift. It was a gift.
Yeah. They're not all like that, Modi.
But they have good skills. They have good skills.
Now you moved to New York, to Woodmere when you were 7, but what are your memories of Tel Aviv?
I was born in Tel Aviv, and then we moved when I was 3 to an area called Kiryat Krenitzi, which is right between Tel Shomer, the hospital, and Kiryat Ono, which is it's literally the Great Neck of Tel Aviv, right?
I just need to do this. Okay, go.
And then it was this beautiful house, and every kid had its own room, and it was this it was a new neighborhood, and across the street from us was a big pardes, like a big field, because they haven't developed houses there yet.
Right.
And then my parents said, we're moving to America. And before we moved to Woodmere, we lived a year in Queens, Forest Hills.
That face is very pleasant.
This apartment where me and my sisters shared a room. And this is my mom. It was her year to figure out if she's staying and we're doing America or going back
So
to
why
Israel.
did they decide to leave this idyllic, what sounds like an idyllic life?
It was idyllic because my parents were the last ones to stay in Israel. All of their siblings finished the army, moved to America.
Okay.
All our cousins were here. So my mother and my father wanted us to have cousins and family, so we moved here. Ironically, no one talks to the cousins. I'm kidding. Only one set.
That's so funny.
Only one set. We
moved across the world, but that would not
across the world. But again, everything is Mashiach energy, and amazing that my parents moved here because
who the fuck would you be? You know?
Yes, yes.
So, was it traumatic to move? I mean, I don't know. Your sisters are.
I loved it. I remember loving it, and I came here. The first apartment we moved to, I thought my parents have lost their minds.
Right.
I can't believe we moved from my house to an apartment in Queens. My first time seeing Goyim.
Right.
I remember I remember the super of the building was this white, like really white Polish or Russian guy, and I was like, wow. And then the first time I ever saw black people.
What,
and
really?
Then,
now wait, did you only speak Hebrew at home?
In the house, we only spoke Hebrew.
And then, when you were 7,
I went to,
did you speak any English?
No, but they sent me to a Jewish school, so
You went to Solomon Schechter, yeah.
Bam, exactly. And then I learned it there. I learned fast because you're 7 years old. You pick up languages.
Did your sisters speak English at all?
They knew a little bit
because they were older.
The only ones that didn't was my father and my mother. They knew a little bit, but not enough. But they picked up.
So just to go back historical before you go to Queens, your parents, are they both born in Israel? Wow.
My parents were both born Tel Aviv, and my father born in Palestine. Obviously, it was not Israel yet. Yeah.
And then prior. What about your grandparents?
Belarus, Romania, and Poland, Russia. The borders always changed.
And they came over
before the war.
Before the war, they came to Palestine.
They were literally the ones that A, they were Zionistic.
Yeah.
And B, when you say, how come the Jews didn't see the signs? They looked around and go, this doesn't look good. Right. Did I tell you the story when I hosted I hosted an event for Park East Synagogue, and Rabbi Schneier was on stage with the person who was being honored.
Yeah.
And he's the son of a Holocaust survivor, and they had the father who was a Holocaust survivor, and they donate these buildings, and they all for Jewish studies, and they were on stage for 30 minutes talking about the Holocaust, like chalashing
and then here's Modi.
So Benny Roganitsky, who was running the event, that develops a bell, and he said, Modi, we have to get this finished, like make this end, go, just walk up there.
Yeah.
So I walk up on stage in the middle of this literally Holocaust fest. They're all just telling their stories. I could have been a name on the wall. Thank God the Kinder transport took me out. It was all. I get up, I stand in front of the podium, and now the rabbi looks at me and goes, hello, Modi. And him and the honoree and his father begin to walk off.
Uh-huh.
Now the audience is looking at me. And my opening line was this. I go, ladies and gentlemen, my parents and grandparents were not. I said, I am not a child or a grandchild of a survivor. In the mid to late 1930s, my grandparents, then living in Eastern Europe, looked around and said, this does not look good. Murray, grab your valise. We're going to Palestine. And I tell you, the room, there was that
1 second, and then they had to let it,
boom, boom. It could have gone either way, but they went boom.
Yeah.
And I said Palestine, and the Israeli ambassador was there, the UN guy, everybody was there. It was so funny.
You know, I often say it's so great to be a Jewish comedian because the Jews love comedy, so we can work for our people and make a decent living. But the amount of times I have had to follow, and 6 million Jews died in the Holocaust. Here's Judy Gold. It's the most, like, I can't. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? But it's kind of funny at the same time.
This is the name of my podcast. And here's Modi.
Right.
We follow the most insane things in the world. The school for the Yeshiva of Torah Academy,
Right.
Tiferes Nachum Va'od. The air conditioning system is down. The janitor can't be paid. The tuition, we have
We don't
kids
have
that
a goy
can't
to
afford.
put on the lights. Yeah.
But that's it. And here's Modi.
Yeah.
And then there's then of course now it's Israel surrounded by its enemies. And here's Modi. It's literally,
exactly
that's what we follow.
I just did the Israel Cancer Research Fund benefit. And I'm like, what's more depressing right now than cancer in Israel? You know what I mean? So it was really, and I said that. I said, oh, this is fun to do stand-up, cancer in Israel. But okay. So your parents, so they were there in the 30s through the war. You come, grandparents. Yeah. And then you, all right. So you come to America to follow the family. They then left there and came here. You go to Forest Hills, Queens for a year. And then you move to Woodmere.
Then we moved to Woodmere, which, by the way, I know we're glossing over it, right. But now that I'm my parents' age of that time, could you imagine picking up 3 kids with no internet?
Oh, I know.
They didn't see the apartment. How did they do it? How did they do it? I have no idea.
That's how people lived.
I can't imagine. Like, I'm thinking, if I had 3 kids and we decided we're moving to Canada, I need you Google what does the apartment look like, a virtual tour, what stores are in the area. Yeah. They picked up and they came to America. I can't believe them.
See? Now
Good
you
for
have
them.
All right. So they come to America and then you move to Woodmere. So your mother, you're in Solomon Schechter, and your mother, and you're like, you don't connect, and it's expensive. This is what I read. You don't. And you end up going to public school.
We lived in the 5 towns. The public school. When we take public school, is 95% Jewish. There were 4 non-Jews. I can name them all right now. John McCaney, this Irish kid. Burns. The director, the famous director, not Ken Burns. No, come on, the gorgeous guy and his brother. Oh, Steve Burns.
I don't know.
Anyway, he was the second guy, and there were 3 other guys. That was it. The rest of the school was all literally, when they read off homeroom, it sounded like Schindler's List. Rosenberg, Rosenstein, Rosenweiss, Solomon, Schwartz, Stein, Stowe. It was literally, that was my high school.
Okay. And in high school.
And I don't know if you heard my podcast with the Chazanis, with the cantorial. Give that a bell. When I had Benny Merguntian, my parents we were traditional.
Yes.
We belonged to a synagogue. We made Kiddush and then whatever, the TV. But I used to go because I was mesmerized by the cantor.
That's right. I have that synagogue. Here. You would go to the conservative synagogue, Temple Hillel, growing up.
Yeah. So because the cantor was, and Leo says it was drag. It's full drag. Yeah. It's the cantors in the robe and a hat and the tallis and he's doing opera. Right. It's drag. Right. He goes, you went to see a drag show every Saturday afternoon, and it's whatever. It was. I had it. My soul was much more Jewy than everybody else. It's like yours.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, no, I mean, we grew up very traditional too. We were kosher, and we had Shabbat dinner every Friday, and we went to synagogue, and we, I mean, I would put on the TV. I wasn't like, but very Jewy identified, and I love being a Jew. I was yesterday I had Isaac Mizrahi on the podcast, and we were talking. I was like, so what? Because he grew up super religious, but he was a guest.
I said to him, I went to synagogue, And just so he wanted to understand about me. So I said, I went to synagogue, and then I came home and got in bed with my mother and watched
Elsa Clench.
Elsa Clinch.
You think I don't know this?
How did you do so much? Where did you get this stuff?
I'm not telling. And so, yes, and you would watch Elsa Clench with your mother.
Yes.
Who was like a
Styles.
Fashion and stuff. Yeah. Elsa Clench.
That was the Elsa Clinch.
So you go to whatever the fucking high school is. I can't see my own handwriting. And were you involved? Were you involved? I couldn't find any extracurricular activity thing for high school.
Well, get ready for this. I mean, if God doesn't work in mysterious. I went through high school. I had undiagnosed ADHD and dyslexia, but I managed. I got through it. Back then, it wasn't, your son has ADHD. It's like, your son's an idiot. And my mom was like, he's not an idiot. And I got through it. So I wasn't making waves. I wasn't the funny guy. I wasn't the class clown. I was friendly with the teachers so they would pass me and I just wanted to get out of it. Senior year, they are doing Fiddler on the Roof.
Oh my God.
And I had no idea there was even a drama department.
Right.
You know, I was like, whatever. I was like, I'm so not in my head range over there. And the woman was new. The woman, the drama teacher, the drama coach was new, and she found out that there's an Israeli guy and he looks whatever. And she approached me in one of the classes and asked me to audition. Now, I went in there, and there were all the kids that had been going from freshman year to senior year, and they go, this is my chance. I want the lead role.
Right. And
I come in and slayed. There's no other word. I killed it. The song, the dialogue, the delivery. I was,
of course,
unbelievable. And that was my extra. That was like the beginning of like when I felt how good it was to be on stage, and I never felt it again until the first time I did comedy.
Wait, so
I felt the same thing.
Yeah. So you starred in the play. Did you then have a whole new group of friends after that? No. Did they all hate you?
They kind of hated me. It was great, and it was also at the end of the year.
Right.
And so, and the school's over. I went to Boston University, and I wasn't super. I didn't do anything drama there. I was like, thought that was it. I was in Fiddler on the Roof. All right.
So that was fun. Good. Oh my God, your mother must have been plotzing.
How's this for a treat? And this I told no one knows about this.
Oh, I can't wait.
I didn't tell my mother I was in the play until like 2 weeks before the play.
Why?
I don't know why. I'm just now remembering it. And my mother and my aunt had to go to something in Chicago, which was a 2-week thing, and they had to come home for that week because it was on the weekend. They had to come home for that for the show, but I killed it.
Was she so proud?
Unhinged, undone. She couldn't believe it.
Oh my God, I love that.
But then that was it.
Right.
That was it. I did the show, and I'm like, okay, I did that, and I went to college.
So you went to
and nothing.
Yeah. You went to BU, and you studied psychology and voice.
Yeah, I studied psychology, and I had what's it called? Electives. I don't remember anything before. I don't remember anything about college. And I had electives, and I took voice. But one of the reasons I went to BU was there's an amazing Chabad there, which I discovered, and there's a Chabad yeshiva that's right off of campus, and I was there almost as much as I was in BU. I was super Jewy.
Yeah, you were
super
very
Jewy.
But the rest of your family wasn't super Jewy.
No, but college is when, like, it's like fraternity, schmaternity, all of that stuff. I went Jewy Shabbos, Jewy Shabbos yeshiva.
What about your sisters?
Still in college. They were never that religious,
Right.
and then my sister now, her kids one of the kids married somebody religious, but they were all their kids always went to Jewish schools.
Right.
But again, traditional, not B'nai Akiva, all
Right.
that stuff. But yeah.
Now, when you were in college, well, I'm sure the answers. I mean, you're gay, correct? Or you don't want to deal with it.
By college, I knew. By college, I knew.
As a kid,
we spoke about this when you were on my podcast. I knew I liked it. We're talking about, people should know, this is 80s, 1980, 88. I knew I liked guys, men, but I didn't know I was gay.
Right.
Because to us, the only gay people we saw were flaming
queens.
When you thought gay was Queens,
Right.
and my mother's hairdresser was this guy with the big hair, and he had the button-down shirt that he tied in the middle.
Yes, like a halter top. Yeah.
That's what we thought was gay. So I said, obviously, that's not me. I just happen to like guys.
Right.
By college, I realized I am gay, but I was also very busy being a Jew.
Right.
Being Jewish and learning Torah and keeping Shabbos.
You were doing that in any subconscious way to not deal with your homosexuality? No?
I'm telling you, it's a very phenomenal thing that with me, and I speak about it with Periel a lot. I never, even her last name, Ashen Brown, giving her the bell. And how annoying that her name is Priel, the fruit of God, and she goes by Periel.
Yeah.
So annoying. So annoying.
I'm gonna call her Priel now.
Priel, the fruit of God. It's such a beautiful name. Anyway, so I never had any in my mind that, oh, it's so bad that I like guys and I'm learning Torah, and it wasn't a thing for me. It was like, when I do this, I'm doing this. When I do that, I'm doing that. And I don't judge myself or hate myself.
Compartmentalized it.
But a gift that I got, I mean, now that I'm kind of more out and speaking about this more, people come to me and goes, I cried. I couldn't keep Shabbos.
Right.
I was like, that was never my journey. I guess I was very lucky.
Yeah.
In my mind, it was very...
Now, were your parents concerned that you were so religious? Because a lot of Jewish parents, they're like, oh God, he's going, they want to just be regular Jew.
It was kind of tamed. It was tamed. It wasn't fanatic-y. It's funny. I had a year, but before my first job after college, I had 2-3 months off. So I went to a yeshiva. I wanted to pick it up as much as I can, then, go. And I went to a yeshiva, but my parents were never really, I wasn't annoying from.
Right.
I wasn't annoying from. It was it was for me. It's like, you do you.
Right.
I'm doing me. This is what I'm doing. Right. I don't care if you keep Shabbos or don't keep Shabbos. This is working for me. I'm enjoying this, and good for you.
Thank you so much for listening to part 1 of my interview with Modi. Part 2 next week. How great is that? How great is it? So important. I really appreciate you listening. I appreciate all the stuff, FYI, that you guys sent me about my podcast last week with Dana. It really meant so much that it resonated with you and that you liked the questions I asked. And I want to continue this conversation. As you know, I think it's so important that people are informed and hear all sides of this. And, I can't with these fucking actors and just these people, I've always been for speaking out. I've always spoken out and appreciated those who spoke out for the LGBTQ plus community, for Black Lives Matter, for Asian hate, for everything, And now we have people speaking out about the most complicated situation for hundreds of years, thousands of years, as if they are fucking experts. Shut the fuck up unless you know what you're talking about. Bring the hostages home. Bring them home. No one wants people dying, in kids and women and no one anywhere. in the Palestinian territories, in Israel, anywhere. We don't want that. We don't want that. Please. It's ridiculous. All right. Everyone deserves to live with dignity, and except for fucking Hamas. They're fucking terrorists. Okay, I can't. I really do, because I gotta get this out of my goddamn system. But anyway, I want to thank you all for listening. I'll see you this weekend in Atlanta. I love you all. And as we always say, so long.